I'm going to share a few lessons I've learned over the years on how to become a mortgage rejection ninja so your business can thrive every year. The lesson number one is that rejection is human. What that means is that in evolution, we are designed to be careful. So if you're approaching somebody to offer them something, the first thing they're gonna have in their mind is this safe for me? So have this in mind, because then the first thing you need to do is to add value to the person, to let them know that you are there to help. If you cannot get over that, the person will not move and they will reject you. So give them time, give them space, let them understand that this is natural, and give them lots of value and let them know that you're there to help and not to take advantage of the situation. That other person needs to feel that you are there to help them and you are not there for your own selfish reasons. The second lesson I've learned is that rejection is not a fact. Rejection is an opinion. What does this mean? When you get rejected, it means there is lack of communication, lack of timing, lack of something. So you need to figure out what's going on. And again, always be mindful of the other person's feelings and the other person's views of the situation. It's not your own views what matters, is the other person's view. In so many situations when I feel initially that I've been rejected, is a lack of communication, lack of understanding from the other person, and we just not need to find out or work out or give some time for us to sink into the right mood so that rejection disappears, and now we start to have trust and a great relationship that will help a lot move forward with any mortgage transaction. Another lesson that I've learned about mortgage sales and rejection is that rejection has a number. Most junior people or inexperienced people believe that rejection number is 0, which means that they are not going to get any rejection. That is very difficult to achieve. Only when you have high levels of trust and deep knowledge of your client and yourself. Okay, so don't expect that to be 0. When you go and talk to someone, understand that you have to follow up with them in a compassionate way. You cannot pester them with email after email, automated emails or automated texts, so they get totally feeling that you don't care about them. You have to do it in a human and personal way. And you have to follow up with them enough times so they understand that you truly want to help them. You truly want to develop the relationship and help them long term with their mortgage needs. Once you achieve that, you can see and look back at the rejection number, and you will see that it was maybe 3 follow-ups, 5 follow-ups, maybe 10 follow-ups. I remember a lot back in my career when I was doing pre-sales, and I went to different sites, and I have this person who told me that will never give me a deal because their best friend was in the mortgage industry and they've been dealing for 20 years. And I accepted that, but it was part of my job to follow up with that site, so I kept going, and I never asked for any business. I just said that I was there for to chit chat or to for them to know me. After about 4 or 5 visits to that site, the person gave me a mortgage referral, and I was totally shocked. And I said, but I didn't expect it. You told me that you would not give me a referral. And his answer was, Camilo, you remind me when I was younger. Your drive and determination has inspired me, and that's why I'm giving you this lead. Okay, so I learned from that line from my previous post that referral has a number, and that referral is an opinion as well. Okay, by following up with that person on nice ways, without being pushy, without being salesy, just with love and compassion, that person gave me a referral, and this is a super valuable lesson for all of us to have. Next lesson on becoming rejection-proof ninja. When you get rejected, ask them why is the reason, and listen carefully, because most people will tell you why you are not getting the business or you're being rejected. Usually what I do in those situations, I said, okay, I totally understand why you're going elsewhere. Let me ask you something. If in the future I can solve that problem or that issue for you, would you give me the opportunity of working together? That shows commitment to your clients. That shows commitment to your trade. That shows commitment to your business. In a lot of situations, people leave the door right open. They would say, yes, Camilo, if in the future this happens or you're able to solve this problem or you're able to give me a better solution or a better rate or whatever it is, I would definitely do business with you. And then boom, amazing, because you're building a great relationship with that person. You may have lost a battle, but you're winning the war. So use this, ask why, think carefully, and ask them if in the future, if you resolve that issue, if they would deal with you. There's another super important lesson on learning to become a rejection or mortgage rejection proof ninja. And that is, change your mindset from selling to helping, okay? What that means is most people hate to be sold. But when you help a person, that person feels that you're helping them, okay? So always pay a lot of attention to the conversation with your mortgage clients to see clues how you can help them. And not necessarily it has to be with mortgages. I remember a time where I got rejected, and I didn't know at that time, or didn't understand quite well, that the reason is because the person didn't have a very good job. And later I understood that was the reason they were rejecting me. So what I did was in a compassionate way, I asked them if it was okay for me to share some information where they could find a better job. I had a really good contact that could help them get a better job. And the lady opened her eyes with so much joy, and we started that conversation. I referred them to that person. I don't remember if they got a job or not, but the person knew that I was there to help. And I remember we did a mortgage later. So always change your mindset from selling to helping somebody in any way, means, or shape that you can do. Help your clients. Next lesson to become a mortgage rejection ninja. Collaborate with your clients. Change the shape of the transaction. Whenever you are in mortgage sales, and in a lot of types of sales, sometimes it feels like the shape of the transaction is like this, like you both, this is your client, this is yourself, and you're fighting for something, okay? I never feel that way. I always change the shape of the transaction to be like this, which means we are both collaborating to solve the problem. So we are not fighting with each other, we are collaborating with each other, so I can help them get what this person wants. And that also works with other professionals that you have to interact, like for example, a real estate agent. Never confront an agent. Have everybody collaborate on the same idea to get the objective that you're trying to achieve. So change the shape of the transaction and remove yourself as the problem. You're only the messenger, and you're only trying to help this person achieve what they're trying to do. That's truly helping, and that's truly thinking about what is best for the client. Another lesson that I've learned in mortgage sales to become a mortgage proof ninja is that I've heard so many times, never give up. And I kind of disagree with that statement. I would change that statement to the following: be very wise to know when to give up and when not to give up. In many occasions, not giving up has given me great pleasure and joy and high achievement. But sometimes giving up has given me the same thing, okay? You have to really understand yourself and see when to give up. For example, if I see that I cannot help a person, I'm not gonna keep pushing and trying to help them because I cannot help that person. Or maybe that person doesn't wanna be helped, okay? Maybe I just have to wait until that person is ready. So be very wise and pick your battles, when to give up and when not to give up. And always look at from the perspective of the other person, because if you follow up too much, it could cause the opposite solution or outcome of what you're looking for. When a person follow-ups a lot, maybe that wants to show that you want the business, you want to help the other person, but you have to be careful, because too much follow-up can cause the opposite, which is the person doesn't trust you, doesn't like you anymore, and you're going really in the totally opposite direction. So be wise when to give up and when not to give up. Next tip that I can give you on how to become a mortgage rejection proof ninja, and that is, listen to the rejection. Don't try to solve every single rejection or objection. Sometimes it is the truth. What the other person is telling you, it is the truth. For example, let's say I really have a very good product that will solve the solution of a family or a financing problem with a mortgage, but that person has their best friend or their brother or their mother or their sister or their auntie in a bank, and they want to do the mortgage with them. Okay, regardless of that I have a better product or a better option, I recognize that is a valid rejection. I may want to say, listen, I understand the situation. I totally understand your situation, and I totally understand why you would want to go with your family member. It's very natural. I would possibly do the same thing. So why would I expect you to do something different? So always leave the door open. So what I recommend, Mr. Client, is have fun with your purchase, with your home, with your financing. Do it with your family member. Enjoy your property. And in the future, if I can be of help, I'll be always happy to hear from you. And the doors are open in our office. And leave it as that. Okay? Life changes. Sometimes, especially if you're focused and determined to make it in the business, you'll stay in the business, and a lot of people will leave the business. Maybe that person gets promoted in the bank and they no longer do mortgages. Maybe they go to another department, another position, and because you acknowledge the objection and the people felt that you had their best interest in mind, they're gonna come right back to you, and that'll be the best time to do the mortgage for them. So listen carefully and do not pick your battles. Don't fight all the objections. If the objection is valid, give the reason to your clients. Another lesson to become a mortgage rejection ninja. This is very, very important. And it has nothing to do with the clients. It has to do a lot with you. And that is, target your audience. If you are in mortgage sales, you're a mortgage broker, a mortgage agent, okay? It is very natural that you want to do everything for everybody. Like you want to do residential, renewals, transfer, work with realtors, work with lawyers, work with accountants, work with construction loans, work with commercial, with business owners, with equity deals, with reverse mortgage, with private mortgages. How good is our industry that we can work in all these areas and help so many clients? But if you choose to work in everything, you will have objections, several and dozens of objections in each category. When you focus, when you target your audience, for example, I love renewals. That's one of the type of business that I love a lot. Transfers. When a mortgage is coming up for renewal and we do I love doing transfers. And when I focus on transfers, I only become really good at learning and understanding the rejections and the objections of transfers. And by giving space and reflecting and understanding the clients and understanding the transaction and becoming a master in transfers and renewals, then the numbers of rejections reduce because I can anticipate most of them and give clear and concise information to the client. But that can only happen if you focus on something. If you do not focus on something, it becomes super hard and super difficult to try to overcome all the objections. So focus in mortgages is king. Another very important lesson that I've learned to become a rejection-proof ninja is that we all know in mortgages there is there's two things that you need to master. One is of course the products and the technical part, but also you have to master yourself, okay? And transactions happen really good and less objections and rejections there is when there is a synchronicity. The person knows that you know your stuff, but they also trust you at a deeper level. So my message today is have a lot of patience and respect for your clients. In mortgage sales, everything is go, go, go. Show numbers, numbers, numbers. But if you go with that attitude to your clients, you will not have patience. If you go the opposite direction and you have patience with them and they know that you're not going to rush them into a decision, then rejection starts to disappear. In other areas, similar with respect, even though they may have disrespect you by several ways, but you don't reciprocate. So they disrespect you, but you still respect them. They will feel that, they will understand that, and rejection will start to disappear. Follow those two pieces of advice and you will see how you keep becoming a rejection-proof ninja in mortgages. Another tip that I want to give about becoming a rejection-proof ninja is when you're posed with an objection, okay, reflect on how you want to respond that, but be direct. If you cannot solve that objection, don't be wishy-washy and confuse the client and talk. Don't do that. I rather say, listen, that's a very valid objection. I don't have an answer for you. I don't have a solution for you. My apologies. If I find one, I'll come back to you. And always be direct and always be kind. Super important to be direct and kind. Don't be wishy-washy and try to avoid that objection, because the person will still have that in their mind and that does not build trust. Be direct and be kind when answering objections. Another powerful way to become a rejection-proof ninja in mortgages when you are a mortgage broker or mortgage advisor is to offer alternatives. You need to be always very, very wise and think about how you present options and alternatives to your clients. I'll give you an example that has worked for me many years. Sometimes, let's say the client wants a variable rate, and the variable rate that I have with all the lenders that I have is not as competitive as the variable rate that he's getting with his own lender. Most mortgage brokers agents will say, yeah, I don't have a solution, sorry. I give my clients alternatives and I ask them why they want a variable, maybe because they expect rates to go down in the future, etc. And sometimes I make variable rates compete with 1 year terms, even up to 2 year terms. So sometimes a 1 year term rate is lower than a variable rate. And what it is basically a variable rate every year, which the client may, if they understand that concept, they may really want to take, because they don't have the fluctuation during the next year. And then in a year, if rates are expected to go down, they'll benefit from a lower rate and they can go to a variable or a fixed rate. So give them always alternatives that may not directly resolve their issue, but indirectly resolve their issue, and you'll see how the rejection may disappear. Another very powerful idea on how to become a rejection-proof ninja in mortgages is build up your character. again, I'm going to say that this again, build up your character. By you going through a big number of objections, a few things will happen. One, you will start to see patterns and you will start to answer the objections in a better way. You have to reflect a lot on how you're answering those objections and what is the best way to communicate with them. But all those objections will make your skin thicker, will make your hair fall, and all those objections will build your character because you will become a tough person. And people like to deal with tough people. So those objections are going to be building up your character, and they will bring success to you. It's very important also to notice that nobody goes in the mortgage business without objections or without rejection. Nobody, okay? The ones who stay are the ones who master objections, master this subject that we're talking about. So all the others will not last in the business. So if you're here for the long term, learn to love objections, learn to love rejection. I brainwashed myself in my life several times on areas and topics that are to my benefit, like objections, like rejection. I love rejection, not because I love rejection, but because it gives me the opportunity to build my character. It gives me the opportunity to reflect in a really intelligent or wise way to answer something, to bring value to somebody. And when your customer or client get an answer from an objection that they never expected because you are a pro at objections and rejection, the balance shifts. They really starts to look at you in a different way. You really start to add value to that client. Learn to love objections and rejection and build up your character so you are the strongest agent and mortgage broker in the country. The last idea that I want to give you so you become a rejection master, a rejection ninja, is be kind to yourself. We all know that when you get rejection, you feel something uneasy inside, but that builds your character, as we discussed before. But be kind to yourself, love yourself, give you some space. Sometimes if I get rejection, I feel bad, and then I go over this concept and I start to feel good. I listen to some music, and then I'm back in the game. Okay, you're not perfect. Nobody is. You're learning, and by doing all these tips that I gave you, you're gonna become a rejection-proof ninja, rejection-proof master. So super important. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, and keep going. Keep going, keep learning until you see your mastery increasing. One of the ways on why I love objections, and I've brainwashed myself to love objections and even rejection, as we have discussed in the previous videos, is that if you're a mortgage agent or a mortgage broker, you have a golden opportunity, because when you start to learn how to handle objection and rejection, you can use that in other areas of your life. And I'll show you right now how I use this in my personal life. So my wife and I, we always had a fun discussion on women versus men, okay? And she stated that women are more intelligent than men, and she had very valid reasons, like women can multitask, men we cannot. Women, they handle work, and sometimes they handle their home, and men sometimes we just focus on work. So she had really, really good arguments, and she kept telling me that women were more intelligent than men, and she's more intelligent than me. And I didn't have an answer for her. And actually, I thought about that for years, until one day it came to my mind the perfect answer, the perfect way to answer that. So finally, I finished that debate with the following. I decided to agree with her. I decided to say to her, Anna, women are more intelligent than men, and thus you are more intelligent than me. But let me ask you a question. Who is more intelligent? You, the intelligent woman who marries the dumb guy, or the dumb guy who marries the intelligent woman? Learn to love objections and rejection.